Hello, and welcome back to the big leagues as I dig in and get ready to fight fire with fire, bringing back a few channel legends to do battle with legendary difficulty in Perfidious Pete Plays XCOM 2. And this is it, folks, the big time. We made it to the show. And I'm gonna need all the help I can get to keep the floor of the show clean from copious piles of splattered intestines and other vital organs. So I'm pulling in the best of the best for this one. The creme de la creme. The guys who have already survived an entire island's worth of voting to walk away champions, and now are gonna be forced to go back, eat bugs, and compete in pointless log rolling competitions for another, 40 days. Because they squandered the cash from their first win. And I have a feeling that much like the 17 out of 18 of CBS's All-Star Survivors, which is clearly the analogy I'm making, at least in my head, I should probably verbalize it so you guys know what's going on. But much like those 17 out of 18 of those people, I have a feeling that most of the folks we're bringing back won't be walking away winners for a second time. Although, arguably nobody walks away from anything involving CBS with any kind of dignity or victory, ever. You don't believe me, just ask John Cryer. That guy was Ducky, man. Ducky and Pretty in Pink. He was Ducky. And he threw it all away. All of it. Signed on as Alan Harper, and now, forevermore, instead of being the delightful, lovable Ducky that won the heart of Molly Ringwald, he's gonna instead be remembered for being 40% of the 2.5 Men. Yeah. 40% of that, it's your fault, John Cryer. Your fault. Anyway, without any further ado, we're talking about the ups and downs of the career of John Cryer. Let's get started on destroying some legacies here. We got a lot of famous troopers who have been here, done that before, and we're gonna see if they can be here and do it again. So let's do this. We're doing legendary difficulty. Now, you're gonna see me not enable Iron Man. Just a quick codicil about this. Whenever I do a playthrough of XCOM, I don't play on Iron Man. This is strictly for recording purposes. I don't save scum or replay missions. Whatever happens, happens. It's one and done. That's the way I play. The reason I don't do Iron Man mode is because I like to post episodes in their entirety, and in the event that the game crashes or there's a bug or a hang, I will replay a mission entirely from start rather than re-record it. The reason for this, I hate editing and I'm a lazy piece of shit. So I'm not save scumming or anything. This is a full honest man run. It's not even like a bronze man where if things go catastrophically wrong, I reload. I don't do that. If things go catastrophically wrong, I just show it on camera and live with the consequences. That's the way it goes. But in the occasional instances, and I think on our last run there were 2 times I was forced to replay a mission due to a bug or a crash, I post the mission in its entirety. That's the only reason I'm not playing on Iron Man. So this is effectively an Iron Man run, just without you missing out on potential footage because of a game crash.
To build as city centers across the globe prepare for the 20th anniversary of Unification Day.
Which, of course, means that somewhere Jane and the rest of the crew of the Serenity are about to be in a fist fight, because that's what you do on New Day. You look for an alliance-friendly bar and you go throw some punches.
12 new gene therapy clinics will be opening in select cities by the end of the new year.
Despite the attempted attack by
the alliance does bring benefits.
Operations at the new facility in Paris thankfully remain unaffected.
In response to the
here he comes. He's back. Man, this guy, I tell you what, he's just unstoppable. Just when you think you've smashed him down, he comes springing back up. He's like fucking athlete's foot. You can't get rid of him. You shoot him in the face, he gets torn apart by an angry mob. He dies in the massive cataclysmic destruction of every alien on his planet, and yet then here he comes back again, his half-horned rimmed hippie glasses, ready to rock once more, reminding us that society is stronger together under Advent's control. Despite the fact that he is very clearly a fucking thin man.
Peacekeeping forces have already made several preemptive arrests of known collaborators.
Yeah, well, they're not getting any of my all-stars. We're not gonna be arrested. We're not going down like that. We're not gonna be punked. You're not taking us to jail. We're not gonna, go down at this Orange is the New Black style. We got Bradford on our side, baby. Bradford. Yeah. Give it to him, Brad. Bradford's pioneering a new line of clothing, by the way. It's a gin-based line of clothing. Every single one of the articles of clothing has concealed and hidden pockets that contain various varieties of liquors. It's got it's basically that coat he's wearing. It's all flask concealed in leather. It's one enormous flask filled with gin, but totally concealed. It's for the surreptitious alcoholic, you know, when you need to drink on the job, things like that. When you're a functional alcoholic and you need liquor to actually work correctly. When your brain functions better, slightly pickled. This is Bradford's line of clothing. He's catering to you, the problem drinker. You ruptured my flask. I'm pretty sure I made that exact same joke the last time I did this too, but what else am I gonna go with? I mean, Bradford, he is a problem drinker, and nothing's gonna piss him off more than spilling his beer. That's it.
Now.
This is what happens when you fuck with Bradford's gin. Alright.
Signal received.
And now you're saying, Pete, you're recycling jokes. Let's consider it that I'm not recycling a joke. It wasn't reusing it. It was an homage to a previous joke. That's what this is. So Operation Gatecrasher is in full effect. Did the thing not say that the tutorial was disabled for Legendary? Because I'm almost positive it said the tutorial was disabled, but this is exactly the same beginning we got last time, in addition to me making the same jokes about Bradford's drinking problem. Nope. Okay, it's different. We got 4 guys. So, our first chunk of the All-Stars here, I see amongst them, looks like a little bit of, "Oi mate, Steve Irwin, back again and ready to rumble. Got me a new hat this time, mate, look at it. Got a pretty good look about it, got me bullets on me wrist, ready to do some damage, kill some bitches, and take some names. No stingray can stop Steve Irwin, not even being killed in the alien base can stop Steve Irwin. Nothing can take me down, mate. Here, and I'm ready to fight." Also looks like Kristen Stewart is here, ready to chew on some scenery, and holy shit, the master chef himself, Jake Busey, has made a return along with what appears to be Abraham Lincoln. That's it, yeah, Jake Busey is, alright, so we've got, I mean, already things are feeling great. We got Jake Busey on our side. The Buse is loose once again, and I feel like really like the combined might of Jake Busey and Steve Irwin. How the hell could this possibly go wrong? Oh no, mate, watch some of that mango chutney fella last time. He's got quite a few culinary skills in the kitchen there, mate. He really whipping up some good chutney. I want to dip some toast points in it. Be a nice little meal there. Good snack after a hard day of wrangling gators and tailing the most deadly snakes in the world. It's just what a fella needs to wind down at the end of a hard day. Alright, let's do this. Legendary difficulty. Here we go. Oh, we have also Kristen Stewart. Okay. Jake, Master Chef Busey, there he is, the chutney man himself. Steve Irwin and Abraham Lincoln. All right, we're ready to rock. Mr. President, I would like to, I think the honor of the inaugural move in this campaign should belong to you, sir. So if you would be so kind, Mr. President, please, let's move forward. The old rail splitter, he's not just going to be splitting rails on this one, folks. He's going to be splitting some wigs. Oh, well, fuck me. 2 pods from our first... Okay. So we've already triggered 2 pods. That's extraordinarily bad. If we're going to stop 1 pod first, I really think this is probably the pod I would choose. So let's... They're also clumped together nicely, which means we can get a good ambush on them. There's no timer on this mission, so we've got all the time we need to set up a right, proper ambush and destruction for these guys. So let's take our time, take advantage of a good initial position to bring these bastards down. So we're going to bring old scene chewer over here. She is probably going to be doing a little scenery chewing for us. Master Chef, can we whip you around over here? We can. All right, it's going to get Jake Busey up and ready to cook. You can see Jake Busey. He's sharpening the knives over there. Jake Busey's ready to work, man. He's feeling good. He's looking good. He's never been stronger. I think we'll bring him up and just park him behind this light pole next to old Honest Abe. Honest Abe, I think, will just spring forward. So we're going to try our patented Overwatch ambush tactics here, depending on which way these guys patrol. All right, they are patrolling away from us, which, honestly, that's okay. This gets us opportunity to move into a little better offensive position. I'm curious what this other pod is going to do. They did not move, however. I'm assuming. So that is a decided negative. So we could bring Kristen Stewart up, have the scenery chewer lob an immediate grenade. Everybody else is in the open, which means Overwatch would be shockingly effective. We don't have enough cover. But we could use Steve Loco Irwin as sort of our backup man. Kind of like that. Jake Busey, is there anywhere you could go to get a good shot? What's your shot like from here? It's not fantastic, but it's actually, that's Kristen Stewart. I want to see Jake Busey. What's the chef cooking with here? Not excellent shots. Honest Abe, what do you got? Okay, Abe is a little better. So let's go with one Overwatch.
Covered.
We're going to have Steve Irwin and the Master Chef ready for some cleanup. Actually, how close can they get? I mean, well, we could adjust our cover some based on which direction the enemies run. Steve, you're actually not really going to be able to improve your position much. I think actually it's better to drop Steve into Overwatch. So let's go with 2 Overwatch and Jake, the Master Chef Busey, as our cleanup artist. He knows a thing or two about being in the kitchen. He knows how to clean up a mess after it's over.
You're near the target position.
I mean, that's half of cooking. Cleanup, that's like 50% of the bill. All right, Kristen Stewart, you're a mastery at chewing scenery. Let's see how you do here. Can you chew some up for me? A little bit of Granado. That was actually a pretty strong start for Kristen Stewart's career. She not only chewed up some scenery, she chewed up the holy living shit out of a couple of bad guys here. This guy's gonna make a break. Here he comes. So our Overwatch ambush so far. What do you got, Abe? Honest Abe drops a man right in the ground. Oh, Emancipation Proclamation has been declared. Abraham Lincoln is demanding freedom for his peoples. 87 years ago, I did lay the smack down upon this great continent to scourge this advent menace from our great nation. So there's our sectoid friend. We do have an Overwatch here, so these guys may be wandering into a little bit of Master Chef style bullet action. Did Jake Busey connect? No, that was a miss. All right, we got Steve Irwin. Oh, Mike, take a shot there. Not a great one. Didn't connect there. Bit of a rough time of it. Just into this new weapon, mate. It's been a long time since I wielded anything but a shotgun. You gotta remember, Steve Irwin, master shotgunner. When it comes to the long gun, mate, not as good. I'm a little rusty. Been out of practice. Gonna have to give old Steve some bygones. That's all right, Steve, baby. I still love you. So, full cover here for Jake Busey. I can't imagine there's another pod. Now, this is on Legendary, so we could be facing up to 3 pods, and I'm gonna operate on the assumption that we are. But our first pod spawned here, and our second pod spawned here. I really don't feel like there's any risk of this move generating more enemies. He says as the move generates more.
The Advent officers seem
Alright,
more
well that
capable
really
than
sucks a
grunts.
lot.
We're not sure whether to chalk it up to training or stricter mind control.
Holy crap, Legendary does not fuck about, huh? Alright, well Jake Busey is in full cover, but he is vulnerable to flanking at his current position. This is not great. Man, I can't believe the mission is this enemy dense. If I have to ignore an enemy, the sectoid is the enemy I'm gonna ignore because he's likely to throw mind spins or try and reanimate a corpse, something along the lines of not particularly dangerous activities. So I really want to focus on the officer more than anything because all Advent's gonna get an aim bonus while that officer is in play. Abraham Lincoln, man, we're almost gonna have to put Honest Abe in some shitty cover. If we're gonna put Honest Abe in shitty cover, and we are, we don't have a choice. Abe's got to move forward here. But if we are gonna put Honest Abe in shitty cover, let's put him in shitty cover from the sectoid, who I am the least concerned about having take action. So we just destroy all of this cover. If the frag doesn't straight up get the kill, which it might, but if it doesn't, we'll take a follow-up shot. Okay, that's not totally unexpected. Master Chef, I would prefer to not have you take that shot. Steve, 46%? Why is that guy still in cover? His cover... it didn't blow his cover. That is definitely suboptimal.
Moving to position.
We could lob another grenade at him, but I don't really feel like that's a great move. That guy may not move unless we try and force him out of there, though. Kristen Stewart, what can you do? We have just an abundance of terrible shots is what we have. Also, Kristen Stewart doesn't have great opportunities for cover here. This is a situation where we could very much use an ability. All right, so I think the best move here, Kristen Stewart overwatches. That's a real bad shot, Steve. We're going to be down to a single grenade if we throw another one. Do I want to? No. I don't. I'm not taking a 48% shot. I'm just not doing it. I would rather overwatch and try to get that man to move than take a 40% shot. It's just not worth it. A 60% shot is considerably better But I also sort of feel like the right move here might be to just have Jake Busey hunker down. You know what? In fact, we are going to hunker down. I've got to get back into hunker meta. This is a thing I've got to become accustomed to. When your troopers are really low level like this, a lot of times you're going to need to hunker down to avoid getting hit. We've got this guy. He's got backup. These guys are going to have great aim. We could really use a hit here, Case Dude. Yeah, that was not a hit, Kristen.
Shot failed to connect.
Yeah, we all, good. Well done. Way to choose some scenery. Okay, so the hunker down may have proved to be the right move. Hunkering in full cover should have a pretty damn strong chance of keeping Jake Busey uninjured here. We've hunkered in full cover. He's going to take all the aggression. No grenades in play. Enemy takes 2 shots, 2 whiffs. Jake Busey, the master chef, cooks up a victory for us. Nice work. Oh, well, I mean, we've got this guy over here. Oi, mate, gonna have to hunt me one of these sectoids. This is a new variety for Steve Irwin. Never bagged one of these bad boys before. Steve's gonna take him out and show him what's going on. Steve's gonna show him the ropes there. Okay, whoa, that's very bad. So Jake Busey's working for the enemy now. That sucks. On the plus side, it will keep Jake Busey unshot. On the drawback side, it's gonna get Abraham Lincoln. Abe's gonna get very lucky to not be killed there. So that was decidedly beneficial for us. I kind of want to keep Jake Busey mind-controlled given his position. Who's got a grenade? Just Steve. All right, well, Steve can do some good work for us with that grenade, though. So, gonna have to lob me over a pineapple, mate. Steve Irwin loves the fruit. It's good for you, good for the body, good for what ails you. Gives you the energy you need to bring down the big game. Speaking of big game, nice work, Steve, with 1 kill, softening up our sectoid friend. Picking himself up a promotion as well. Good work, Steve. That's going to let old Abraham Lincoln swing around here. We should have a flank shot at our sectoid pal. 81%. Honest Abe, give me a Gettysburg Address. We on this great continent brought forth a victory for our young nation. Also, why did Abraham Lincoln sound suspiciously like John F. Kennedy right there for just a moment? So how do we want to handle this? I really want to kill that advent officer. I mean, I desperately want to kill him, but Jake Busey is in, overall, just a terrible general position. He does have our only grenade. We could try and force this dude to move. I think this is not a terrible plan. So we're going to have Jake Busey, and we're sort of pulling up. Who's on Overwatch? I beg your pardon? I thought he shot. I know he marked me, but okay, that, all right, some early missteps, but the luck staying strong, keeping Jake Busey out of harm's way. Give me a little frag here, Buse. But look at the underhand toss. Jake Busey going with some unconventional styling. So the Buse is in cover. I was hoping that would get us a kill. It patently did not. Kristen Stewart's going to have absolutely terrible shots at everything. Yeah. It's Overwatch then. K-Stew is just going to be our deterrent. I mean, honestly, K-Stew is a strong deterrent for me. If your options are, hey, Pete, you want to go see a film that has Kristen Stewart in it, or would you rather stay home and watch a rerun of Mama's Family? I'll be like, man, Mama's Family was shitty. It was a bad show. It was like every Southern stereotype ever, and it was completely uninspired and terrible. And you know what? I'd rather watch Mama's Family. Can we just stay home and watch Mama's Family? I'm okay with it. Let's just watch Mama's Family. It'll be fine. Rue McClanahan was in that. What were you thinking, Rue? What were you thinking? I would love to run over here, but this guy is on Overwatch. Can he even see us from here? He can see us? That's absolutely bizarre. He's in the fog of war. We have a 26% chance to hit him. That's not fantastic. Can we get a little flank shot action going here, though? We could get a very long-range flank shot from Honest Abe and grab some loot as well. I don't necessarily like our cover situation, but actually, we won't even be able to see that guy. We'll be too far away. So do we want to make like a spring attack flank shot then? At any point along that run, can this man see Abraham Lincoln to shoot at him? We've got to know. You can see him from that tile, but he won't get a shot. All right. We're going to try some creative problem solving here by forcing the enemy to move into us. Abraham Lincoln's also going to grab some sweet loot. Well, I mean, Okay, Abraham Lincoln's gonna grab some loot. I wouldn't say it's sweet loot, but it's better than the nothing we otherwise would have gotten. We bring in old Abraham Lincoln over here. The Master Chef is still back there trying to cook up a little bit of a kill. Steve, I think we just have you hop over here. What's your shot like? Okay, it's not good enough.
Scanning.
I'm not gonna take a 46% shot. It's just not worth it. If we bring Jake Busey anywhere over here, Jake Busey is going to be in very significant levels of trouble. We're trusting Kristen Stewart to eventually come up with an Overwatch Connect.
Scanning.
Trusting Kristen Stewart to eventually come up with anything seems like sort of a just in general shit idea, but I wouldn't mind hunkering again. We're probably looking at 3 shots. You know what? Yeah, let's just do this. We're going to hunker now. A little bit of vehicular explosion somewhere. Michael Bay just had a tiny miniature orgasm. He was like, oh, it felt so good. All right, so Jake Busey has been remarked, but he is hunkered down in full cover under the watchful eye of Kristen Stewart. I think he's going to be okay. Nice work for the Buse, staying strong, hunkering behind that light pole. Jake Busey knows what's up. This guy's going for the flank. Kristen Stewart, we really need this to hit. God damn you, Kristen Stewart, you worthless piece of shit.
Come on.
Yeah, Oh, Jake Busey still with the greatest luck. This is why he's the greatest trooper in the history of XCOM, with the possible exception of Steve Owen. Oi, mate, I'm right here, man. You can't say that kind of stuff when I'm around. It does terrible things to me ego, pal. Come on. I mean, he's good and all, and I didn't want to say anything about the Master Chef. The man really does make a mean chutney. But, oh, come on, man. I'm standing right here, pal, right here. I'm sorry, Jay. I'm sorry, Steve. I don't mean to disparage you. I don't want to cause you to lose heart, Steve. But Jake Busey's real good, man. He's real good. What are you gonna do? I mean, he's Jake Busey. So far, hunkering has been doing some pretty solid work for us, but I think maybe it's time to get a little more aggressive. Am I gonna trust Abraham Lincoln to run up here and take a back shot against this guy with no support? It's the fact that he would have no backup if the shot missed that I'm not comfortable with. We're really getting too spread out. We could come over here and take the flanker, but that's going to leave Jake Busey in very much not good cover. I would kill for another grenade right now. Is this guy on Overwatch? No, he's shot. So we could back up, get to half cover, and have the flanker. I would really love to be either hunkered down or in full cover. But at this point, our battle zone is getting too spread out. We're getting we didn't... Oh, okay, for a minute I thought we popped another pod and I was going to absolutely shit my britches. Britches remain unsoiled for now. There's my boy. All right, Jake Busey scoring the kill. Now we've got to figure out how to keep this Advent Trooper from closing the distance. And Jake Busey picking up a much-deserved promotion. We could put Kristen Stewart in some less-than-ideal cover as well. How do we handle the Abraham Lincoln situation? How do we bring forth onto this continent a great nation? What possible solutions are there? Kristen Stewart can see one man. And that's good, because it's the guy I sort of wanted to see. Kristen, you're overwatching. Steve, we've got to get you in a position to come around on the flank for this guy. And the amount of turns we're taking to complete this mission, I have to say, is not filling me with a lot of confidence. Maybe we just have Steve overwatch as well? If we do go for the flank move with Abraham Lincoln, that unit will try and move. That's not even full cover. If we get him flanked, he will try and move to a position where he is not flanked. The problem is we have no support then when that guy decides to come do not very nice things to us. So I think instead we're just going to bring... Am I going to overwatch the entire team this turn? This is slightly better than a coin flip for Abraham Lincoln. I think it's worth the risk. Let's take the shot. This is a bad shot. And that's what happens when you take bad shots, typically. All right, that's not good. But what I'm very worried about, based on the amount of time this mission is taking, is strictly the amount of time. Is time. We're still going to have turn timers. We don't have turn timer on this mission. But we're going to have turn timers henceforth, and I don't... Oh, this is not good. Okay, Steve Irwin staying strong, getting shot at in bad cover, but managing to hold on. This guy's going to just take shit. Okay. Oi, mate, got a bit of a rough patch here. So the Overwatch turned out to be patently a terrible idea. Jake Busey, you're in just a terrible position. You can't do anything for anyone. I think Jake Busey kind of needs to double move here. Let's bring Jake Busey to this location. The problem is we're not really going to be able to set up anything better this turn. K-Stu still has bad shots. We can get K-Stu a little closer, but what we are doing, we are converging on the enemy. Abraham Lincoln, man, I really would love to get you in this position. You would have 2 great shots. Your cover would be suboptimal. We can't afford to take any sort of risks with Steve Irwin now. 46 is bad. 25 is bad. Just leaving Steve in half cover, though, is... I mean, it's basically that's a non-starter. We can't afford to do that. Can we afford to come up here, get into cover, and double hunker? No, we can't, because if we cluster up, we're going to get a grenade shot at us. I mean, that's going to happen. Advent officers do have grenades, and they will use them. So as much as I don't like it, I hate this move and everything about it. Oh. Okay, yeah, I still don't like it, but it does give us a flank on the officer. If we would get a crit, 40% to crit here, we may be looking at trading a wound on Abraham Lincoln for... We got to take the chance. All right, well, Abe got a hit. It is not a critical, and now Abraham Lincoln is in pretty rough straits. Kristen Stewart, if you could maybe fucking hit something with an Overwatch shot, that would be enormously helpful. Just like once in your worthless career. I fucking hate you forever, Kristen Stewart. You worthless piece of garbage.
Enemy is still up.
Yeah, you just got Abraham Lincoln shot. That's what you did. Congratulations on recreating the events of the Ford's Theater, by the way. Brilliant work. That's top-notch XCOMing. So Abraham Lincoln, that guy was out of ammo. Kristen Stewart, she's only good because she makes the enemy waste enough bullets. It's her one ability, folks. It's her one ability. She can make you chew up your supply of ammunition. So Buse, what do you got here? 1 terrible shot, 1 also terrible shot. All right, well, Abe, I mean, we could have you back up to here and take a flanker. Honest Abe is also out of ammo, actually. That's very double plus and good. Kristen Stewart, you have got to do something on the mission. You're gonna have to contribute.
Heading to that location.
So far, you have thrown precisely a grenade, and that's the only thing you've done. You got a 46% at that guy, which is terrible, and a 30... I think Kristen Stewart's probably going to wind up on Overwatch again, as is... You know what? No, Jake Busey is not going to wind up on Overwatch. And Kristen Stewart, can you get into a position where you can flank that guy and force him to move? Of course you can't, because you're you, and that would be something useful. So instead, we're going to bring Jake Busey over here just to generate flanks. That should encourage this guy to move, hopefully into the gunfire of Kristen Stewart. Steve Irwin has 1 fucking bullet left, and we've really got to make this one count, Steve. Steve is hurt, and I'm still putting him in half cover. Yeah, mate, I gotta say, this is my first day on the job here, pal, and I'm not feeling real well appreciated. Nice shot, though. 7 damage critical. Steve putting some bullets in the side of a man's face. Abraham Lincoln is out of bullets. So that's... I'm going to go ahead and just call this a definitively bad thing. What we can try to do is encourage this man to shoot at Abraham Lincoln instead of Steve Irwin by putting him in similar cover and a position where he has that man flanked. Kristen Stewart, please don't get somebody else killed, you son of a bitch. Don't make me hate you forever, Kristen Stewart. All right, then. I mean, I still hate you forever, Kristen Stewart, because you are you, and I blame Steve Irwin's injury solely on you, by the way.
Inbound contacts. Scanners are clear. -15, we have a limited window to act before Advent responds. We need to get those charges planted on the double.
I'm going to have Kristen Stewart do it right now, Bradford, so don't worry your gin-soaked little head over it. K-Stew's going to plant the X4. That took a very, very large number of turns.
Rendezvous at the extraction point.
I'm really worried about our first timed mission, being able to get things done in an appropriate level of time because the enemies are so much more dangerous And we're going to be spending so much time doing things like hunkering down in full cover to try and draw fire. So excellent, nobody killed Steve Irwin. Oi, mate, gonna wind up in a hospital here for a bit, but don't you worry, not even a stingray bob to the heart can bring down a man as manly as Steve Irwin. It's gonna be just fine. Also, if you could have that Master Chef chap whip me up a batch of that mango chutney, do a lot to sort of lift me spirits while I'm in the hospital, really wouldn't mind. I hate that our successful shot percentage statistic does not take Overwatch into account. I mean, I really would appreciate that, knowing exactly I could then categorically have statistical evidence of how much fucking Kristen Stewart sucks. I could just then have objective evidence of her being largely worthless. So, yeah, Jake Busey, once again, taking most under fire and move the furthest. These are common things for Steve Busey. Or for Jake Busey, rather. Steve Irwin, of course, dealing the most damage. That's right, Mike. Nobody does more than Steve Irwin. And Abraham Lincoln, launching most attacks, which, I mean, the man did declare war when the Confederacy succeeded. I mean, that's a pretty serious number of attacks. A lot of battles in the Civil War. I'm sure he felt guilty about it, but I mean, Honest Abe was an honest man. He'd be like, hey, Abe, you know, you got a lot of people killed. He'd be like, well, yeah, you're right. I made the hard decision. I did it for the good of the nation. I really feel, but it was, in fact, a difficult choice. Kristen Stewart got 3 kills. How the fuck did that happen? Oh, right, the scenery and her chewing on it. She just swallowed an entire fucking film set whole, because that's how much scenery Kristen Stewart can chew when Kristen Stewart gets motivated. All right, Steve, what's your job? Hey, Mike, mission specialist, that's me, Steve Irwin. You know me, good, got a specialty there, running me nature preserve and zoo. Gotta say, I'm one of the best zookeepers in the world. If you've ever been to me little nature preserve, you'll know. Steve Irwin puts on a good show. So Steve Irwin is promoted, picking up aid protocol. Yep, that's fine. So Steve's going to be mission specialist. I'm assuming Jake Busey's going to be a ranger. Of course he is. He is the master of mango chutney. Wielding that blade like a kitchen knife, it is finely honed and ready to slice, dice, and julienne. So good. So good. There's the old Master Chef. All right, he's got the slash ability, which I'm not a fan of. But more importantly, Jake Busey has got Gary back. His trusty shotgun Gary. Never goes into battle without it. Abraham Lincoln, what are we going to have you do? I mean, I really feel like chewing up scenery should have been more of a Kristen Stewart job, Abraham Lincoln.
Provide heavy ordnance delivery whenever and wherever we need it.
I will bring forth a great fire to purge the menace of the Confederacy from this nation. Pretty sure that's not something Abraham Lincoln would have said. He was, by all rights, a pretty congenial, if hideously ugly man. All right, well, he's going to be our grenadier, which means Kristen Stewart is going to be our sharpshooter. I'm assuming that this is then an ironic ability choosing. They're like, oh, Kristen Stewart, she's a sharpshooter. Yeah, you know, the girl who hit absolutely nothing with her gun the entire mission, sharpshooter. So yeah, Kristen Stewart picking up an ironic promotion. Fantastic. She's got the squad sight ability. I really feel like maybe Kristen Stewart's going to be a gunslinger as opposed to an actual legitimate sniper. One, because it will give me an opportunity to fling her right into the very jaws of death on a routine basis, and I am shockingly comfortable with that. So we also picked up an Illyrium Corps for our loot, 6 Advent Trooper Corpses, 1 Sectoid Corpse, an Advent Officer Corpse as well.
Commander,
Steve Irwin is shaken. It's going to happen, Steve. I'm sorry about the wounding, buddy. Hey, don't worry, Mike. Steve Irwin's irrepressible. My willpower, not really that. Hey, Bradford, you want to give me a minute here? Steve Irwin is talking, Bradford. It's very rude. Don't worry, Mike. I'll be back in the thick of things as soon as you know. And once again, get me a dose of that mango chutney. I really feel like that would perk up my spirits. Perk up my spirits quite a bit there.
If it weren't for your father, he was something of a miracle worker.
Hey, Bradford, your dubbing on your voice is real fucking off. What's the deal with that? I mean, it's way, way off, Bradford. It's like watching a Godzilla movie up in here. Lily, yours is not remarkably better. It's like watching NCIS dubbed into Spanish. It's real fucked up. And I say NCIS because I'm always making Polly Perrette references with Dr. Shen, because she is that much a cardboard cutout character. We can address my considerations of the literary treatment of women in men's prose. It's probably a topic for a future episode.
Yet completely harmless to human life. The If only the same could be said for the rest of the aliens.
I really feel like most people don't write women
Commander.
well. Because they should just write
Dr.
a person
Richard
and then be like, oh,
Tigan,
also
Chief
she's a
Science
female.
Officer.
You don't
I
write
am
specifically a
responsible
woman.
for the
You write a
entirety
character
of
and
our
then just
research
like
here,
gender should be the thing
as
that gets
well as
added
the
on.
procedure you so
That's how you write a
recently
compelling
underwent.
woman character. You make them a character first who just
Such
also
as it
happens to
is.
be a woman, not a woman
I'm not
who is
sure
a
what
character.
Central may have told
I
you,
feel like
but
Lily
we
goes the other way. She's the
found
wrong
something
version.
While removing you from the alien
She's a
stasis.
woman who they tried to shoehorn into the
device
character rather than just
implanted
writing the
directly
character
in
and be
your
like, oh, also
occipital
she's a girl.
lobe. Had I access to the equipment available to me during my tenure at Advent,
I wouldn't have had to
already know
rip
the
that chip out of the
precise
back
nature
of my
its
skull by
function.
going in through the front of my
However,
face.
given
Yeah, I would have
time and
appreciated
your
that, Bradford. The
approval, of
catastrophic
course,
sinus
Commander.
damage really
I
leaving
assure
me
you,
with some issues.
I will find out.
My nose runs
Which
24/7.
brings to
and
light
I-
an
my
additional
Kleenex
point.
budget is out of control,
No
Dr.
aspects
Tigan.
of this facility
Your
are
scientific
indeed
chops, I'm already a
impressive.
suspect.
I am but
Also,
one
clearly
man.
you've forgotten everything you
Were you
learned
to direct
literally
additional
yesterday.
Support personnel and
You've gone
resources
from
to me,
making
I could substantially
puckered
improve the speed
purple
of all
buttholes
our
into
research.
another universe that we can sort of enter
Farewell,
through the
Commander.
psychic sphincter into some other alternate, reality. And now suddenly you're like, I don't know how this chip works anymore. I forgot everything. Tigan apparently got into Bradford's liquor stash at the after party and just forgot all of it. So 5 days for modular weapons, hybrid materials, alien biotech. I'm gonna go with modular weapons because weapon mods are one of the best possible things you can research early.
Intriguing options available. We'll begin work immediately.
It's gonna be 5 days for weapon modifications. This is not a significant problem for us, and I think that's probably gonna send me down to engineering.
How the Advent administration views our
Yeah,
current
all right.
band of renegades. Do they see us as an actual threat, or more of a nuisance?
Well, at this
Commander
rate,
to
I'm
engineering.
guessing probably a nuisance, although they should be terrified of Steve Irwin because now they've heard him.
Reworked your repulsors.
Steve's
with
out
some
for
of the parts
revenge
I
now.
salvaged from their old engine. Should fix that stabilization problem you had.
Uh-huh. You know, this thing doesn't talk or anything,
It'll work.
Lily. Is it supposed to be some sort of limited AI, or is it just a straight-up drone?
Commander, getting our tech to
Because
talk
if
to
you're
their
talking
is
to
part
it
of
and it's just a
thing.
straight-up drone, that seems a little
Lily
weird,
Shen,
Lily.
Chief Engineer, at your service.
Also, I'm a girl.
You were probably expecting to see my father.
No,
You know,
I
that's
really
happened
wasn't. I mean, he was
on
old 20 years
Kissing
ago. I
Central
wasn't
didn't
expecting to
tell
see
you
him at
that.
all. He should be long dead. I mean,
He's
even on a natural
gone.
timeline, if we hadn't lost the war,
Dad gave
he probably would have died by
everything
now.
he had to get us this far. This entire ship is his life's work.
Mm-hmm.
I know he would have loved to show you around the place himself.
When did Dr. Shen have a
He
kid,
used
by
to
the
talk
way?
about
This is
you
the
a
thing
lot.
that I never discussed,
You
I
can
think,
be
in our
sure
initial
I'm
playthrough.
ready to finish what
Did
you
Shen
started.
strike you in the original
Might not look
XCOM
it,
as the kind of guy who was
but
like
I'm
married and
here.
had a family?
I can fabricate
Because
pretty
he
much
sort of struck
anything
me as an
you
angry,
want.
more of a
And with
loner,
little
happy to
more
be
help,
isolated with his
well, you'd be
technology and shit.
amazed.
He didn't really strike me as a family man sort.
It was an honor to finally meet
Maybe
you.
that's why Lily's so attached to Dr.
Commander.
Shen, because, like, Dr. Shen and her mother weren't together. They had, like, an estranged relationship, and so she grew up with, like, an idealized vision of her father because she wasn't raised in the same household. So she's like, he's great. He's off fighting the war against the aliens, and he's all about that. And it turns out he was just a miserable old, just toot codger who didn't give a single fuck about Lily and rarely remembered to send her a card on her birthday. And she was like, it's okay. Dad still loves me. I know he's really busy fighting the alien invasion. That's why he forgot my birthday. Next year, though. And then she was disappointed again next year and just made the same excuse. You know, Lily, I'm kind of getting a tragic backstory vibe from you suddenly, and yeah, I don't feel great about it. All right, well, Lily's taken care of.
I got
Is
a
that it?
report of some creaking down by the aft
Are we
lift
done?
yesterday. I just hope it's not metal fatigue.
Well, I mean, metal fatigue is fairly easily fixed, Lily. It's not a huge problem. And I think that's where I'm going to wrap that up. Lily Shen's tragic backstory of her broken relationship with her father, one-sided as it may have been. If you enjoyed the episode, feel free to drop a like down in the comment section. Of course, your support does really mean a lot to us. And if you'd like to see more all-star action, might consider subscribing as well. We're going to be posting new episodes of our legendary XCOM campaign every single day. Right now, however, thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon.